I don't date men with children. And I had a guy come up to me recently who really got offended when I said that I don't date men with children, because he wanted to go on a date with me. And after chit-chatting for about 5 minutes, I asked him, hey, do you have any kids? And he said, yeah, I have a pair of 7-year-old twins. And I'm like, that's amazing. I'm sure they're like wonderful children. I don't want to date you. I don't want to go on a date with you. And he really got in his feelings because I said that I didn't want to date him because he had children. And I was like, listen, baby boy, if you are a good father, those children should always be your priority. They should always come first, above any romantic partner, right? I am child free for a reason. I like to be able to get up and go whenever I want without any attachments, without having to worry about children, right? And he couldn't understand that I, as a child free woman, wanted nothing to do with a man with kids. Kids are a blessing. They are a gift from the heavens, but they are a major responsibility, one that I do not want. And if my age, my old ass has no kids, why would I want to be a stepmom, right? And he really, and at the point he turned into like, well, you're just gonna grow up to be grow up, OJ. You're just gonna be an old hag if you don't give men with kids an opportunity, because at our age, people have kids. And I'm like, good for them. I don't. And I don't want to date you because of it, right? I don't get why certain men are obsessed with like dating women that have no children when there are amazing single moms out there who will be fantastic stepmoms. Why do you want us? Why? I don't understand. And then why do you get offended when we say that we don't want to date you because we don't want the responsibility of being a step-parent? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying that we don't want to take that on. The 2 times that I dated men with children, it turned into a fucking nightmare, right? Because of their baby mamas. I will never do it again, right? But he just couldn't understand it. He couldn't understand it. And he said that women with me, like me, are the problem. Donde?
That's her preference, and that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. I have no issue with what she said. Now, I will say this. If she said, I don't want to date you, in that same condescending tone that she just used in the video, maybe that's why he was in his feelings. Maybe the way that she said it was so, she like had an anaphylactic shock when she realized that he had children, because according to her, dating a man with children was a nightmare the 2 times that she did it. And she's saying that it's because of the kids, but we don't know. It might be some other factors that she's leaving out. But again, I can't be mad at her because I completely understand. As a man, many men feel the same way, that we don't want to date a woman with kids, but we get shamed for it. Now, she said at her big age, I don't know how old she is, and I don't know how old the dude is, but it sounds like that they're both a little older, on the older side. So him saying that, well, you know, the older that she gets at this age, most men are going to have children. I don't know the exact age, but I do know 54% of black men, at least, are single and childless. Past the age of 45, that number actually drops. So if we're talking about late 30s, early 40s, because we ain't talking about 50s, and we know she ain't that damn old. So no, most men do not have children. So there's plenty of childless men out here for her to pick from. So that dude said that, I don't agree with that. But I will say this. If that man was rich, I don't think she turned him down just for having kids. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Notice how she only said that her issue with the man having kids is that should be his top priority over top of a romantic partner. And she's the type of woman that wants to be able to get up and go. I pay attention to these words, and that tells me that you want to be a man's top priority. And sorry, ladies, but if that man is rich, you're definitely not going to be his top priority. A man's top priority, a real man, a successful, strong man, his top priority is going to be his purpose. That's just what it is. Especially if he's rich. Again, she's entitled to her preferences. But my spidey senses is telling me that she's a lot more flexible with this no kids thing that she's leading on to believe. I guarantee if that man was making $500,000 a year, and she could be able to get up and go whenever she wanted to, on his dime, she could deal with him having kids. Then she don't even have to meet the kids. You know what I mean? And again, I understand this because I'm a man. See, the difference is, as a woman, she's expected to be stepmom and, there's responsibilities that come with that. But on the man's side, when we're expected to be stepfather, we're expected to provide for that child. Maybe not completely fill the role of a father, because if that child still has their father, then they still have their father. But we're still expected to provide, most of the times the child is with the mother. So if the mother has a new man, that means that new man is a stepfather. That means that child is living with that stepfather more often than the biological father. So we're expected to take on that responsibility and play the role of a stepdad. And it's not rewarding. We just heard Deontay Wilder talk about how he was dating a woman. They wasn't even married. And he loved her so much and he loved her kids. And he even put her and her child in his will. He asked his kids how they felt about it and they said, cool. And this child turned around and said, "You not my real daddy?" Yeah. Shout outs to my man, Ryan Davis. He said it the most perfectly funniest way. "I want you to love my kids as if they're your own." How can I love your kids as if they're my own? I would die for my children. I would put my life on the line to protect my kids. I'm not dying for your children. You expect me to have that same level of love and protection for a friend of a friend? Hell no. Now, there are some women out here that actually understand it from a man's perspective, like this one here.
So I know a lot of women don't want to hear this, but in reality, there's really no benefits to a man being a stepfather. There really isn't. There's no benefits to a man coming into your life and playing the father role to another man's child. So if this is the case where a man decides to choose you, even though you have a child by a different man, or maybe you even have multiple kids by different men, you should be overly grateful. Instead of having a form of entitlement like, oh, I deserve this and I deserve a man that's going to be a father figure for my child. And let's just say the child's father is still in the picture, right? And this man still chooses you. At the end of the day, if he's with you, he's still going to have to play some type of father figure in the household and also help financially some type of way with that child, right? So instead of being entitled and being like, oh, well, I deserve this. No, you don't deserve anything. You need to have even more gratitude that a man even decided to take you on because you have baggage. And that's just what it is. And you know what's even more wild? I've heard of cases where women have actually married men and the man decides to be, outstanding man, and he goes and adopts her child. And then when they divorce, she'll put that man on child support for a child that wasn't even his. Like, that's not even his biological child.
Now, I will say, me personally, I don't necessarily think that there's completely no benefit whatsoever in being a stepfather. I don't think there's zero benefit whatsoever. But I do think, typically speaking, like a lot of stepfathers, especially nowadays, don't get the same respect that they used to. There used to be a time where if you were a single mother and, you had a child and you wasn't with the child's father, you were just lucky to have a man. Like you would be jumping up in the air, clicking your heels, proud that a man would even take you on with a child, let alone women that have 2, 3, 4 kids by 2, 3, 4 different niggas. So the entitlement is what the issue is. But guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. You got music, you got a business, you got a brand, but nobody knows you exist because you're not being promoted. DM me right now for promo. I got 450,000 followers on Instagram. I got 850,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have the platform that you need to get seen today. DM me, email me, hit me up right now to get the exposure that you need so that you can get the customers you want. I got you.